Hey guys, this is What If Bob and Deadpool Went to Young Justice Part 2. Now, this is a little bit of one of my favorites in terms of, Young Justice What Ifs. But let's just dive right into the video. Before we actually dive into the video, I am going to be posting 3 What Ifs this weekend and on Monday and Tuesday. Because I'm recording this on Thursday and you'll probably see this Friday morning or Thursday night, like 12 or 11. But basically, so I am going to be doing about 3 what ifs and about 3 other, reaction videos. I'm gonna be doing doing 2 reaction videos this weekend and 3 what ifs this weekend. And I also will be posting a lot of action figure shorts, basically trying to post a lot of videos this weekend to get my revenue up and to, pretty much, not be so dry on my channel, because I can't go too long without posting anything from my channel. Because I'm not Corey Kenshin, I can't take a 9-month break. So, yeah, basically, you will be seeing a lot more reaction videos from me, because that's my new thing. I'm going to start showing my face, going to start doing reaction videos. So go in the comments and tell me what you want me to react to. I did upload a video. If you saw that, it was only 14 people saw it. It got copyright claimed because I reacted to some memes. But the creator, he didn't have a problem with me like recording it and making a video on it. He just said, you can't get revenue off of it. So basically, or you can't get paid off of it or monetize off of it. So I'm gonna be finding another, meme video that isn't copyright claimed, and I'm gonna react to that. My official episode 1 of me reacting to memes is going to be this weekend or tomorrow, and I will be posting 2 other what ifs. I will be posting what if Deku had Metro Man's powers, and I also will be posting what if Deku. I think I said I was gonna post something about Deku being some sort of. Okay, I was gonna post what if Deku was Metro Man, yes. But it was something else I was going to post. Also, I will be posting, I think it was, what if Deku was a Chupacabra as well. And also, I am going to be posting my first lone Naruto what if about Naruto being in his own universe, but him being changed. I'm going to be doing what if Naruto was a werewolf, or either what if Naruto was Kryptonian. Either one, which one you guys want to see. What if Naruto was Kryptonian, or what if Naruto was a werewolf. But other than that, I think that's it, and let's just dive right into the video. So we start our story off last time where we left off, where Bob and Deadpool will be introduced into the team, and Deadpool would kind of flirt with Megan. As that would mainly happen off screen, but we get switched to don't mind the noise in the background, episode 3 of Young Justice, and we introduce our story in Star City. As we see, the beginning of the episode is basically the team acquainted with Bob and Deadpool, basically going after these thugs and helping pretty much Speedy save his butt, because Speedy would have basically crashed some sort of crime or pretty much deal that was happening. So what would happen is, things would start going south real fast, but Speedy would be able to keep up with himself. But at the last second, he was about to get hit by a rock and killed, but Aqualad and a bunch of other people, or the rest of the team, showed up to help him, or to back him up. Robin, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Bob, and Deadpool would have showed up. Speedy saying, "Who are these new guys?" And basically Deadpool and Bob looking at each other, and Bob saying, we're the new guys." As Deadpool would have just said, yeah, we're the new guys. So as he tries to shake Speedy's hand, as Speedy just says back off, as he pretty much goes back to shooting arrows towards this dude, as he shoots a mobilized arrow, a foam arrow, to keep him pretty much stuck, or to keep him in, pretty much a neutral pose, so he can't get out. So pretty much Speedy calls the police for the whole thing to happen, and he dips right afterwards, as Deadpool figures out where he went, but he just disappears into the shadows. As we get switched back to Mount Justice in Happy Harbor, as we see that Connor, Megan, Bob, and Deadpool are living in the pretty much Mount Justice, because, Bob and Deadpool, they're not in their own universe, and they're basically just chilling in there. As Deadpool, like I said earlier, does know about the Young Justice universe and did watch the show in the Marvel universe. Because in the Marvel universe, this Deadpool comes from. The DC universe is a comic book and a movie show, basically a franchise. So pretty much what would happen is we see that Red Tornado would have showed up in Mount Justice, basically them asking for some missions, but Deadpool already knowing or remembering this episode of the show, as he would have said it's probably no missions, as Red Tornado says it is no missions, and basically walks off. Now what would happen is we can switch throughout the rest of the show, or throughout the rest of the episode, and things happen. Pretty much the story goes the same, and characters develop more, relationships with each other, aka, familiarities with each other. As Robin and Wally still try to flirt with Megan. Also, Deadpool also jumps into it as well. Him being a lot more flirty and actually straight up forward, as Megan understands this and really knows that he's actually straight up flirting with her. But she just passes it on, or pretty much tries to brush it away. Now, as pretty much Connor says, "I smell burning," as Megan yells, "Oh," and then she goes in the kitchen, seeing that the cookies are burnt. But she says, or pretty much Wally eats the cookies because he has a high metabolism and he needs it for him to not pass out when he runs. So what happened doing this? We would see that the team would have talked the same. Deadpool throwing in some smarky remarks and comments and jabs at people, especially doing a jab towards Robin, as Robin would have been shocked that, let's just say, Deadpool kind of did refer to Grayson as Dick Grayson. He referred him as his last name, as pretty much Dick Grayson would have been kind of confused, or Robin would have been kind of confused, saying, "How did you?" And Deadpool would have said, "I have my ways." As we get switched the rest of the episode, as Megan was still do her sidekick talk, people still being kind of, angry at her. But Deadpool, since in the comments at one point he did have some sort of mental blockers or mental training to keep his mind out of the range of sidekicks, Deadpool was able to just overpower Megan, so he barely felt that whole psychic talk that Megan, did, because he barely felt it. But Megan would have still came back, still talked to Connor to follow them to Bioship because she didn't want to, hurt him too much, and saying that she's sorry. But pretty much Connor, seeing that she is sorry, joined the rest of the team. As they would have gone in the garage area, or I guess the docking bay, as they would have seen that, it would be kind of an orb, but it would have transformed into a Bioship, as it would have still drove around Happy Harbor, as the team would have been introduced to each other's, powers, as in this canon, Deadpool would have introduced a game of knowing each other, as everybody would have said their powers and why they became a hero, and basically Wally going into the backstory of his whole entire thing with, Flash and Aqualad also going into his backstory, and Robin also going into not his backstory, but how he was put under the wing of Batman. That was basically all he said. As Deadpool would have known the full story because he would have been a kind of a big Batman fan in his universe, watching all of these shows and also pretty much comics, as he would have just, sat there. As Bob would have been quiet majority of the time, just acting kind of quirky, but also pretty nervous. As pretty much, Megan would have introduced each other, would have pretty much showed off her Martian shapeshifting in the female versions of everybody on the pretty much Bioship. As she would have transformed into a female version of Deadpool saying, "I look hot." As Wally would have started laughing out alongside Bob, as Bob and Wally would have actually became kind of closer friends, as they would have became kind of bros, kind of, homies, kind of like how pretty much Robin and Wally are pretty much straight up best friends. So Bob would have been introduced into their friend group as pretty much a trio. So what happened is, doing this, Wally would have asked Miss Martian or Megan if she can do the whole Martian facing through walls thing, and she says it's a lot more of a complicated rule. But Robin did bring up the fact that pretty much, Wally could phase through walls like how Flash does, but every time he tries it, his nose bleeds. So basically, Wally pretty much says, "Dude," as we see that, well, the team is given a transmission that something's going down in Happy Harbor. So they would have gone to check it out. As they would have gone to check it out, as they would have seen that things would have started to go south pretty fast. As we would see that, well, they would have seen some sort of robot type, pretty much, I guess, figure, basically giving off that similarity that it looks like Red Tornado, as they would have started to get bodied pretty quickly by this dude. As Deadpool would have had pretty much his hero costume underneath a black hoodie and black jeans the whole time, Bob just having a green jumpsuit on with yellow stripes. So what would happen is Bob would put on his Hydra mask, as he would have, and Bob, basically his appearance in this universe since the whole transformation, he looks like a teenager. He basically looks like Wally, but with brown hair and blonde tips, and he has like a lot more freckles on his face. So what happened is, well, Robin and Bob would have been the last ones standing, going up against Twister before everybody else got back up after getting bodied by Twister, as Bob would have thrown some C4 straight in Twister's face, as Rob would have thrown one of the exploding shurikens, or pretty much batarangs towards Twister's face at the same time, setting off a huge explosion. As the building would have been pretty much cleared out, as nowhere, Deadpool would have came out of nowhere, kicking Bob out of the area, since Bob and Robin were probably the most durable on the team, the most undurable on the team, or the most fragile on the team, as he would have thrown Robin and Bob out of the building, as the building would have blown up into smithereens, as Twister would have flown off, as Twister and the rest of the team would have, separated. As the team would have gone after Twister, seeing where he went after the explosion went off, as they would have gone after him. As Connor's durability did keep him alive, alongside the whole, Atlantean durability Aqualad had, plus Megan being a Martian, and Wally also having the Speed Force and being able to get out pretty quickly, since he was already outside of the building when he got kicked outside of the building by Twister. So what happened is, well, the team would have followed Twister to Happy Harbor, basically the docking area, as Megan would have gone back for some help. Her coming across the whole same idea, and pretty much, well, planned as an original. But the team would have shown up there, as Deadpool would have came out guns blazing, basically barraging Twister with straight up gunfire, just raining bullets, as he would have started to take out huge blasters and straight up just giant miniguns and pretty much bobby guns. It's straight up just starting to go ham, just loading bullets on Twister, as Twister's middle interior would start to get dented pretty quickly, and bullets going through Twister's legs and arms, and also his chest area of the suit. As Twister would have had enough, as he would have twisted pretty much Deadpool into nothingness, pretty much summoning a tornado right underneath Deadpool, twisting and configuring Deadpool into nothing but a broken pile of goop and blood, and fabric over it, because Deadpool would have a suit on. So Deadpool would have been on the ground, basically bleeding out, as what would happen is Bob would come out of nowhere, and basically him, just because of plot reasons, him also having his Hydra type suit underneath his green jumpsuit, him basically taking out these two blasters and shooting them, basically them going up against Twister, as Twister would have started to get stunned by them, because they would have been, well, elemental type blasters. Basically a couple of blasters Bob got from Hydra base a couple years back, as it would have been pretty much an elemental 3-element type gun, as it could shoot ice and water attacks, fire and lava attacks, or just straight, energy or electricity attacks, aka just plasma beams and blasters and lasers and stuff like that. So what happened is, soon Red Tornado would have shown up, basically helping the team, because the team were kind of getting bodied, and Bob and Deadpool did give them a little bit more of a fighting chance, but it was kind of overpowered, because Deadpool was out of commission for a little while because he had to regenerate, and Bob also got hit down to the ground like a rag doll, about to get stomped out by Twister, before Red Tornado showed up and told the team to get out of the way, as Bob would have jumped out of the way, as Twister would have been preoccupied with fighting, well, Red Tornado. As Red Tornado and Twister would have started to go crazy, as they would have started to fight, with some wind power. As soon the fight would have gone on, but eventually Twister figuring out that this wasn't the real Red Tornado, as it would have been Megan under disguise. As Megan and the rest of the team would have ambushed Twister, basically bodying this dude as they would all fight against Twister. Pretty much Deadpool throwing a pack of pretty much 4C on Twister's body, as Twister would have been, gone into the water, blowing up as after the explosion, as the water would have gone off. Aqualad would have came out of nowhere, hitting, Twister the same way like in canon, as the team would have basically fought Twister, and they would have started to win pretty quickly, as Twister would have started to get bodied again and again. As Bob would have shot Twister one last time, as the suit would have opened up, and Megan would have read the person in Twister's body, as she would have crushed them, seeing that it was an android or a robot. Now, what would happen doing this? We would see the episode would have ended off them trusting Megan and their friendship and their team their teamwork becoming a lot more stronger, as Bob and Deadpool being a lot more of a closer team, and also alongside pretty much them being more of the mercenaries or gunmen of the team. Sorry. So what happened is, into that episode, we get introduced to two scientists talking about the project was somewhat of a success, and we need to learn more about that Deadpool person, as Deadpool would have been his regeneration would have been very, pretty much complicated, as Deadpool's suit would have been kind of busted and pretty much ripped because of the pretty much the wind and pressure marks on his suit, and then being kind of scraped and roughed up. But Deadpool just sewing up his suit and just basically fixing it up. Now Bob would have just started to tweak with his blasters, because Bob and Deadpool would have just been out of the conversation or out of the episode when the team was looking at the android's remains. So we're gonna end it off here, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and as always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.